One of the biggest misunderstandings with dating advice from people who are professionals to just random people on the internet is focusing too much on you feel good about yourself, you have self-esteem, you have confidence, etc. There is a place for that, obviously, right? But what makes game important? And my definition of game is the knowledge of how women show interest, how to react when they show interest depending on the context, how to initiate conversation, right? How to hold conversation, how to generate attraction while you're in the conversation through your words, your vocal tonality, and your body language, and your mannerisms, and your eye contact, and your facial expressions, right? The whole shebang. And how to sustain that attraction as you also escalate, because you're the man and that's how it works. You take it from point A to point B to point C all the way to point D when you stick your fucking D in her, right? That's game. And knowing how to respond to different things, to challenges, to questions, how to ask her the right questions, how to screen her. It gets pretty fucking complicated because every girl that you're dealing with is a unique individual being. There is a general trend of things that women like and general behaviors with slight differentials in tastes, right? But each context with that girl on that day in that specific mood in her phase of her life is going to add a host of complexities to it, right? And when people try to reduce this down to, oh, I just need to feel good about myself, or I need to feel confident, or the reason why it's not working, because I just had a client recently, this is what inspired it. I had a client just text me today, and he wanted some texting advice, so I told him what to send. And first of all, he didn't even fucking do what I told him to. I literally sent him the text to send. And he made his own text, and that's not what I told him to send. And then she responded, and he continued to text her in a way. First of all, he should have stopped because she had kind of put up a wall, and I think that he was chasing too much. And I said, okay, maybe you can chase a little bit. You can try one thing, right? Because he wanted to set up a date with her. And she said she might be busy this weekend, but she was off today. So I said, maybe you can say, hey, you want to meet today? Usually I advise against this, but this is one of the contexts where I was like, maybe you can get away with it. Well, it didn't work. And then he continued to persist. And I was like, no, you're just missing, no. And there's so many other little things about his texting that he was doing wrong. And his response to me is like, well, usually I'm good, but I'm just kind of desperate right now. Because part of his problem right now is he's not meeting girls of the quality that he would like, right? And that's why I'm actually going to go out to meet with him to do a boot camp. And this response, like, oh, I'm just, kind of desperate. I was like, that's the whole point. Like, if you have good game, even when you are desperate, you can pull off a win, right? That's like what makes someone a good seducer. Anyone can be attractive when they're fucking confident and feeling good about life, right? Let's say something, just things are just going well. You're getting in shape in the gym, or you made a lot of money, or you could have just won a game of fucking online chess, like anything that could put you in the mood, right? Or you just got laid. Let's say you just got laid, so you're running on this high. And then you go out and you're like, yeah, I'm the man, all things are going great. Anyone who's ever been in this situation, if you have a modicum of self-awareness, there's a down coming. Because you can't ride that high forever. And that's proof that riding the high is not sufficient to continue riding highs. There is actually skill and conditions you have to meet to continue to succeed. Because if it was just about confidence, then anyone who has their first level of success would just continue on to infinity, right? I'm confident, so I succeed, or therefore I'm confident, I'm just going to keep iterating success over and over again. That's how it fucking works. Or you actually got to know how to talk to a girl, right? You could walk up to some girl and she thinks you're being arrogant now because of your attitude and she rejects you. It happened to me all the time. I thought I was the shit. I got a bunch of cute girls on rotation and sucking my dick. I'm the man, and I go out and approach a girl and she rejects me. Well, because in that moment, I wasn't putting the right kind of game for her. I was showing a little bit too much confidence, and it verged on arrogance, and I didn't build up a connection with her, and I tried to move too fast. I should have just had good game, which meant assessing the situation and adapting to the situation, right? But people fall into these stupid ideas, whether it's like, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, it's just not meant to be. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? There's just this supreme force that's just like, you're supposed to be with this person. If it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. That's fucking retarded. That removes all agency from you. You have literally no free will. That's the logical consequence of these belief systems of like, oh, it's just meant to be. Are there probably forces, working in or against our favor, depending on, context? Yeah, sure. But they're not ultimate, because if they were, we would have no free will, right? You have to get philosophical at some point, and that's the problem with most people in this industry. Is they're fucking stupid. Like, they just don't think about things. They just, like, everyone should get a fucking philosophy degree to some degree, and even people who I know have bachelors in philosophy, they're fucking dumb, right? So even them, right? Sit down and break down why something is working, why it's not working, right? But people come to these stupid conclusions like, oh, it's because, it just wasn't meant to be. Retarded. Or, oh, it's just because I'm in a bad mood. Doesn't matter. If you had good game, you maybe wouldn't have that extra, like, shade or degree of, like, flair and swag, right? But you would know this is not the right text to send this girl, even if I'm fucking desperate, even if I haven't gotten laid in whatever amount of time, or I just got rejected, or I just got broken up with and cheated, or whatever. You make the right move, right? I actually just watched Serbia versus the U.S. in the Olympics semifinals for basketball, right? And Serbia, they have, Jokic on their team and some other really good players, but Jokic is probably one of the best players in the NBA right now. I'm not a huge NBA guy. I'm just plugged in because my best friend is. But he's, like, probably one of the best players, right? And then on a U.S. team, you have, Curry and James, who's probably the greatest of all time, right? And Serbia was actually kicking their ass up until the fourth quarter. And my friend, I was like, do you think, they're going to win? And he's like, well, I thought it was going to be a slaughter. I'm really surprised that Serbia is, winning for this long. But I think the U.S. just has better consistency, right? And eventually that consistency played out in the end, right? They didn't get too frustrated. And then finally, when the U.S., it was at like the 4-minute mark in the last quarter, the U.S. Went into the lead, Serbia just broke. You could see in their body language and in their facial expressions and the way they were playing, they started getting desperate. And they started getting demotivated. You could just see they were slouching. And then the U.S. was like, oh, yeah, we're on this shit, right? Because momentum is important. I'm not saying it's not important. So we'll call, feeling confident in your life as momentum. It definitely has its importance. But the U.S. didn't have it for the first, 85% of the game. But then right in towards the end, they just continued to play good basketball. And then they used that momentum in their favor to give them even more, fucking testosterone. Right? And they just, like, steamrolled Serbia in the last couple minutes. But Serbia, the thing I noticed about them, I don't know basketball, but I know competition. I know competition really well. Because I paid attention to myself when I'm, losing out, like some guy gets a girl that I like, or, a girl leaves me, or whatever. When you're riding a high and then you're losing, you lose momentum. Or if you're just losing in general, life just sucks and you're just not really getting anywhere. Your energy, if you allow it to dictate your thoughts and your behaviors, you're done, right? You just fucking lose, and that's what happened to Serbia. But the other thing that they were doing wrong is that they didn't have the experience in the limelight like the U.S. team had, because all those U.S. players are the top, 1% of the 1% in the world, and they're used to being on the big stage. These guys in the Olympics, except for Jokic, and there might have been another NBA player in there, but I'm not really sure. I think Jokic was the only star on their team. He was kind of cool, calm, and collected the whole time, right, to the degree that he normally is. But the rest weren't. You could see they were getting shaken up. They were getting too excited that they were in the lead, right? But every other guy on the field has won an NBA Finals. I think so. And then James has won a shit ton, right? And or at least been in the playoffs. They know what it's like to be at the center stage. They know what it's like to be in the spotlight and to have the pressure on them, right? The clock is ticking down, and you're down by 2 and you need to score 3 to win the game. Whatever kind of sports movie fucking situation you're in. They've been in that before. They know how to handle it. Or watching Patrick Mahomes in the last Super Bowl, the Chiefs versus the who the fuck evers, right? And the Chiefs were down right up until the very end. And I was watching it with my friend, who's the sports guy I was just watching Olympics with. And he's like, Mahomes is just cold as ice, just fucking stone cold killer. Like, he was on the verge of losing. Just one more play doesn't go well, and he loses. He's just calm. Throws the ball. Next thing. Gives it to the runner. Like, it's always, he's just going to the next play, to the next play, to the next play. He's just focused on it, right? He's professional. That's what made the U.S. just win that match. I think if the Serbians were a little bit more experienced in being in such a high-pressure environment, they probably would have won. Because clearly on a skill level, they were equal. And maybe today even better. Right? That was very clear. That match was more about keeping your cool and not being dependent on your state. Right? But it's such an easy scapegoat to focus on if you're feeling confident in your life. Like I just had a different client of mine. He actually dropped out of coaching, right? He started, with coaching, and then, there's a lot of things that happen. It's not simple, but a large part of it was he just got rejected, and it got to his head, and he started, I don't think he had the right mindset, right? It's a little more complicated, but at the end of the day, it's kind of not. He just didn't have the right mindset. And he let it get to him, and, he thinks that, he needs to focus more on his self-esteem, which is fine. Everyone has to do what they think is right for them, right? Everyone has to do what you think is right for you. But what I noticed in these two situations with the client who, we're still working together, but I'm just going to have to teach him this lesson, and I'm going to show him this video too. And then the other client who, decided, to not, focus on dating right now and focus on himself. That's fine. But what I noticed is that they are putting external factors on their success rather than just, are you good? Like, just, do you have skills? That's it. Your narratives about yourself and your ideas about yourself, what we call self-esteem, they're important, but they're not as dominantly important as a lot of people put on it, right? So the way you see yourself, right? Let's tie it all together. The way you see yourself, your self-esteem, your view of yourself in general, right? Are you a success in life? Do you make whatever that is, make money? Are you successful? Like, do you have a high degree of skill in whatever it is that you care about? Do you have friends? Do people care about you? Does your family love you? Do you get girls? Or even if you do get girls, do you get the kind of girls you want? Are they loyal to you and sweet to you and care about you? Or they play a lot of games and are really toxic, right? All of these things, right? They are identities that have evidence for and against, right? If you get a lot of girls, you have evidence that, girls like you, right? But you can have a ton of success and still have low self-esteem. Like me, even when I had, I was getting pretty good with girls, I still had a lot of gaping holes in my self-esteem. And when I would get a rejection or a string of rejections, I would think I was I was like, I'm a joke. Like I was literally teaching people, and it was successful because I give them advice and they get success. So it's a very clear correlation. They weren't getting success. I gave them advice. They got success. Clearly I knew what the fuck I was talking about. But the way I saw myself, I thought I was a loser. I was like, why am I teaching people? I don't fucking know shit. I'm garbage. I'm a loser. Right? That's self-esteem. That has nothing to do with skill. The proof is in the pussy, dog. Like, if you're not getting bitches, you suck. That's it. Right? Or you're in a downtrend, and that's fine. A small dip is fine. But a large trend of you just sucking dick, you suck dick. Right? Or your self-esteem is so bad you've convinced you stop playing the game. I don't really know a lot of people who have skill. They go through a down period and they just keep trying, which I would go through all the time. I'd have down periods. Of course I have fucking down periods, right? But I'd keep pushing. So even when I would have this mentality of, oh, I suck, I'm the worst in the world, right? Horrible self-esteem. Next day I'd go out and approach more girls and get my dick sucked or something. And then guess what? I'm on top of the world. You're paying too much fucking attention to your emotions. And I know it can be very extreme, You get cheated on. Like I have a client recently who he got cheated on, and he was with this girl for like 3 years, and he's just kind of naive. It was his first serious relationship. It was totally understandable. But he really got his heart torn out. But like, there was a lot of obvious signs that this bitch was fucking hoe, and he should not have put up with it's like, it wasn't just boom, betrayal. It was like lots of shit leading up to it, right? Some of it's subtle, but once you understand subtlety, it becomes clear, and it's not subtle, right? It's actually really fucking clear. And that hurt him, and I understand. I've been through it, right? it really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. What's your skill? Just iterate the skill, right? Shoot another basket. Go approach another girl. Go ask another girl out. And if you're consistently in a long trend sucking dick, you just need to fix your approach. But a lot of people get stuck in what they're telling themselves. And they think it's real, but they think it's permanent. There's a difference. Of course it's real. Your thoughts are real. Obviously, you experience them, right? But they aren't necessarily true, and they're not permanent. They're not going to stay there forever. Just fucking iterate the skill again. Go. Next play, next play, next play, next play, next play. And if you lose, okay, next game. Right, but when you lose a big game, like I bet the Serbians, they just lost that game, but they have to go play for third place, right, for the bronze. It's probably really demotivating. It's like, all right, we're playing, but we're just playing for a medal, and it sucks. Like, I could have been in the finals and gotten silver or gold. Silver guaranteed. Sucks, right? But guess what? They play for that bronze, win or lose, they could lose it and just feel like garbage, right? Okay. Next year, play in your league, right? Or in 4 years, play again. Just do it again. Just do it again. Approach goes bad. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And just be better. What did I do wrong? What could I do right? But you think it's dependent. Oh, I'm just not confident. I'm not feeling myself. Blah, blah, blah. She's not feeling my swag. Fuck you. Your conversation sucks. You're a bad conversationalist. You don't fucking listen to people. You don't pay attention to people's body language. You don't adapt to their body language, right? You're not charismatic. You don't know how to express yourself in an interesting way. You don't know how to have good eye contact with a girl, where it's strong enough that, you know, you're showing some sexual intent, but not so strong you're fucking creepy or like weird, right? You know how to break eye contact. You know how to recognize when she's really feeling you or not feeling you, and you have to, you know, do the push and pull, the balance of interest back and forth. There's all these very simple things, but if you add all of them up, it becomes complicated. Complexity is just stacking a lot of little basic skills on top of each other. That's all complexity means. That's it. It's just a lot of little things together. But people keep projecting their narratives onto situations they don't understand. If you're bad with girls, here's something very interesting. It's actually really cool. If you're bad with girls, you aren't qualified to make a judgment of why you're bad with girls, because you suck, right? Oh, it's because of my self-esteem, or it's because I'm desperate right now with the client who texted the girl like shit. You're not qualified to make that judgment. Now, well, he's a little more experienced, right? But I've known tons of guys who would get tons of girls, who have over 100 lays, but they're fucking stupid with understanding why they get girls. So what they do is they just take mid-tier like game and they just iterate it over, hundreds and hundreds of times. Well, yeah, eventually you're going to get a lot of success. But are you getting consistent success? Are you getting the quality of girls you want? And here's the most important, even if you get a bunch of bitches, right? Let's say you have that kind of unconscious mastery. This is where you fail relationships. Because you can't ride short-term emotional highs in a relationship. She's going to see every fucking thing. And just because you're really successful with girls doesn't mean you know how to pick quality women, personality-wise, right? Physical is just, what do you like? I mean, who is a man to tell you, what you should and should not fucking like? Jesus Christ, Hector, right? Go, if that's your 10, that's your 10. Go for it, right? You know what you like, so go after what you like. But when it comes to your personality, I mean, there's compatibility personality, so like the personality you like. And then there's, let's call it green flags, but also morality, like just having virtue. Like, is she a good fucking person, right? There's the way that her personality expresses itself, but then there's the virtue. Like, is she just a good person or not? Which isn't dependent on personality structure or color, or however you want to describe it, right? Are you good at picking that? Just because you get bitches doesn't mean you know how to have a girlfriend or have a wife. It's all, you can be the biggest pimp in the world, but you marry a bitch and she takes half your shit and cheats on you and sucks another guy's dick. So much for being a pimp. You just got cucked. Okay? And here's the thing. Even if you do get cucked, so the fuck what? Next play. Next play. Who fucking cares? Great. I can go fuck another bunch of bitches. Or find a girl who's even better than her. Awesome. Thanks. You got bad karma and I got freedom. Sounds like a good deal to me. Shit, a bitch cheating on you is a fucking blessing. But you got to have the mindset to see that. Right? But the biggest thing here is if you don't know how to get girls, which is clear in your fucking results, you aren't qualified to make a decision on why. But everyone in the world wants to narrate their own failures. They want to give structure and reason to their failures. And most of the time, we're just playing mind games with ourselves. Like with the client who said, oh, I'm just kind of desperate right now. Now, he didn't make it a big deal, right? I know I'm making a whole video structured around this, but this is not the first time I've heard this shit, right? This video is just sparked by recent events with that client. But I've seen it my entire coaching career, okay? So I'm not just focusing on these guys. I've seen it myself too. We give all sorts of excuses. You're just not good. It's just a skill issue. And that's great. That's the best news ever. If you're willing to accept the momentary pain of like, maybe I'm just not that good. Maybe I'm just not that good. Do you see girls around you and you think, yeah, I can get them. I genuinely think I can get them. And I've proven I could get them. The proof is in the pussy. Have you made out with a girl like that? Have you eaten her out? Have you gotten your dick sucked? Have you fucked her? Have you been in a relationship? Until then, you're not quite where you want to be. You don't have to be fucking King Kong seducer of the world. Because I know guys who are very well known in this seduction community, and some of them are quite what I would deem as, you know, the ideal that they portray. Because a great seducer is not some guy who just walks into the room and can fuck any bitch. If you believe that, you're fucking dumb. You're retarded. Some girl is just going to like some other guy better, and she's not going to have attraction to him. But if you give that really great seducer a chance, he knows what to do with it. He can consistently, over a long trend, win. Just like with USA versus Serbia. They were losing right up until the final quarter, or the final half of the final quarter. Right? And then they pulled it out because they were just consistently doing the right thing. They didn't let it get to him. And that's what a good seducer does. He's just consistent. Consistency, 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 consistency. And a high degree of skill. So he has skill, but he has consistency. You have those two things, boom. If you don't have skill yet, then just replace skill with consistency. Go at the speed you're comfortable with. You don't have to do, you don't have to like approach 1 billion girls a week, or, you have to be tomorrow. It could take 5 years. It could take 10 years. It could take 15 years. It could take multiple lifetimes, And you can do it in your next life, right? Just keep doing it until you get what you want. Consistency. So this is a little bit more nuanced than just saying stop bitching skill issue, right? But I guess you could take that lesson from it. Just focus on skill. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do right? And what you need to do right is always a product of what am I saying to her? How am I saying it to her? How am I expressing myself with my eye contact, my facial expressions, my body language, my hand gestures, mannerisms, whatever, your movements, your behaviors. But also, of course, your mental model, right? But the mental model is one of the last things that you really start to fix. Because it's very difficult to force the mind. It's a lot easier to force the voice in the body, even when you're not 100% feeling it. Just do the right things and you will become that thing. It's not faking it until you make it. It's just acting like you want to become. It's not fake. You are intentionally and sincerely wanting to be more interesting and charismatic and da-da-da-da-da. Learn how to have conversations. Pay attention to what people fucking say. How do you strike at the heart of what makes a connection with someone? Have you ever asked yourself that? Well, these girls don't like me. Da 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 da. You have a problem with love, which is a connection, lust, so her getting turned on, or trust. Somewhere in these three aspects, you are failing. Either all three, one, or two. Where are you failing? The skill to know where you're failing is what makes me a coach and you a student. That's why coaching is so important. The clients of mine who stick through coaching see the most success. I don't know of anyone who has quit coaching or not decided to coaching and is more successful than someone who has done coaching with me. Haven't seen it. There's some people who can go out on their own and get a little bit better. I mean, obviously. I mean, if you go to the gym without a personal coach, you can get in really good shape. But if you have someone who really knows what they're talking about, you're going to be better. Every Mr. Olympia or NBA guy or MLB, whatever sport, fitness, whatever you want to think about, coaches, super fucking important, even at the highest level. You can learn on your own, but you probably won't. Show me a UFC champion or a Super Bowl champion who didn't have a coach. Just showed up. It doesn't work that way, right? You got to get the advice. Or you can go out on your own. You can. But usually you're not going to go. You're going to stagnate or decline, right? So, how do you get advice? You watch my videos. Go watch a shit ton of videos until you start to get an idea of what you want to work on, like, because you got to work on a lot of things. But there's specific things that you need to work out or work on that will give you the quickest success right now. Like, there's 3 things generally that are going to make the biggest difference right now. You could work on 15, 20 things, but there's 3 things that are like your biggest sticking points. And then if you break through those, then you go to the next thing. And then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. So if you want me to tell you what that is, there's a sign up in the description below. You sign up for a consultation. I'm expensive. I'll just say that. We'll discuss the pricing and everything, but if you're not willing to spend, about, well, I guess, close to 10K, right? Or just about 10K, then, I'm probably not gonna work with you. Or $1,000 an hour. If that price just automatically, nope, don't even sign up. I'm only working with people who are serious about this shit. I don't deal with people anymore who are not about that life. It's not even enjoyable to work with some people anymore, and that makes me a worse coach. See? I have the skill to coach you, but if I have the momentum and I care about wanting to coach you, I'm going to do better. Right? Do I have the skill to help anyone, even if someone I fucking find annoying? Yeah. But I'll do better. And I have the abundance to demand that, right? But I had the skill, and I taught so many people who I don't want to teach. I've had tons of clients I don't fucking like. I still fucking taught them anyways, and I got them results. But now I'm focused on the people who I want to help, right? And people who I want to help are the people who are willing to put in the work. They're willing to go do the approaches and deal with the pain. And the people who are willing to spend money. Because money is like pussy. It's very difficult. You can't, it doesn't lie. You put up the money, there's truth. If a girl gives you pussy, there's truth. The wet pussy is truth. It is undeniable fucking truth that she wants your dick. Money and someone giving you money is proof. That's what I like about these things. There's proof to them. Right? A woman kissing you, sucking your dick, letting you fuck her in the ass, marrying you. Like, these things are proof to a certain degree. So, if you're interested in coaching, sign up for the consultation below. We'll go over the details, and you already know the price. And we can do a payment plan. Of course, you don't have to pay up front, but and you're going to stick through it. I'm not taking quitters anymore. Nope. Not interested in it. I don't want people who are going to fucking stick through the whole thing. So you sign up, you're finishing. You're going for it, right? And I'm going to hold you accountable. So if that's not on your level monetarily, I totally understand. So I have my day game course. It's in the description below. Meet Girls Everywhere. It gives you a lot of the tools that I'm going to teach you in terms of like day game that I'm going to teach you in coaching. It's pretty much the same thing. But the thing about coaching is I'm going to go specifically into what you need as a personality to express yourself better, right? But what I'll teach you in terms of like the day game structure is exactly what I'm going to teach you in the course. So it's not that the course is like lesser. It's just not a complete package because it's focused on day game. If there was a course that's like teach every personality, everything, everywhere, in every context, it would be $1 million course. And it would be like a bajillion hours long. But that doesn't exist. And it never will exist. Texting book. All of the texting shit that I teach people in my coaching clients is in that book. But I guess what people want to pay for is they want to pay for, like, I want the answer right now from you without having to, okay, is it on this page and this page and this page, right? You want speed. That's what coaching gives you. But my texting book gives you everything that I'm going to teach you pretty much in coaching. So if you don't have the money to get that very faster, more efficient route, then get my texting book and get my day game course. So anyways, I've gone on long enough. I love you guys. Go fuck yourself. I know I'm very harsh with the way I talk sometimes. It has a point. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to hurt the weakness in your mind, if that makes sense, right? And sometimes you have to, if you want to battle with demons, you got to put on some fucking gloves and go at it, or more accurately, take off the gloves and go at it. So, yeah, subscribe, ring the bell, buy my shit, sign up for a consultation, and let's get to work. Stop crying. Let's go.